Does the new Microsoft pen live up to all the hype and reviews? Hang around and let's find out. Hey YouTube, how the heck you doing? I am doing great because I just got my hands on the new Surface Pen that Microsoft put out earlier this year. The blue, Cobalt Blue that I was looking for finally came in. I was able to snag one at a local Best Buy store. So I'm going to do a little head-to-head against the old Surface Pen, and let's just see how it lives up to the hype and reviews that have been going around the internet. So let's just get started and open this guy up. It's got a little tape at the end there. Slide it out of the box. It's in a little pouch there, wrapped in plastic. Let's see what else we have in the box here. We have some materials as far as the use of the pen, a little warranty brochure. I'm sure that's something we all go through and read diligently every time we get something in. And we just have the little manual that shows the little features of how to replace the battery and stuff. So let's go ahead and compare it to my old one. Let me take off this plastic wrapping they have on here. They have it on there pretty good too. I probably could have slid it out, but it doesn't look like it would slide out too easy. There we go. Like I said, this is the Cobalt Blue. I got it to match my type cover that I got in the Cobalt Blue. And this is my old one in the regular blue. As you can see right off, it's missing the clip on the side there so you can put it in your pocket. The tips themselves look fairly similar as far as length and everything and thickness. So let's get a closer look at these two pens side by side. The select button is a lot different in size now that it's a much smaller on the newer one, where on the previous one you can see that it almost went the total length of the pencil. And at the top there you had a combination of metal and plastic on the old tip, whereas the new one has all just plastic. And then the nibs themselves have also been changed up a little bit. It's a little wider and fatter on the new one. The actual tips themselves look very similar, maybe a little bit thicker on the newer Surface Pen. And from what I've read, although the pen does not come with the extra nibs like the previous one did if you bought it separately, these nibs do fit in the new Surface Pro pen, although they do take a little more effort to getting them put in than the older Surface Pen. So that's one of the changes on that. Also at the other end where the erase button is, the erase button or the click button is a little bit thicker and higher in the new one. And then, like I mentioned before, the clip has been removed from the new one. So no more putting it in your pocket easily and carrying it around. You have to either keep it magnetically adhered to the Surface Pro or in some other carry device. So I went ahead and synced up the new pen with my Surface Pro. In the instructions it says you could touch the pen to the surface of your Surface Pro and within 10 seconds it should recognize it, but it didn't do it that way, so I had to go ahead and do it through Device Manager. So I have that one set up on my Bluetooth, and I also still have the old blue one. So either way, when I do a click at the top of the button, I can bring up the little Windows Ink workspace that's on the side there. So let's go ahead and go into Sketchpad, and we'll do a little comparison between the two. As you can see, the old one has some pressure sensitivity. This is about as hard as I am doing there. Let me go ahead and clear that out. And then on the new one here, as I do a little lighter, it does have a little more feedback to it. You don't have to press as hard to get any kind of ink or pencil lay down onto the canvas. And also this one does have the tilt on it, so you can do some shading if you want. So that is a good thing for artists that like to do some shading in their projects. They don't have to switch around from brushes and pencils and pens to get the shading effect they want. They can just do it right there in the pencil. And it does have some sensitivity as far as doing it lightly shaded and then some hard shading. So that is a good thing. Whereas the old one, obviously, if you've been doing it, if you tilt it, you're actually pulling the tip of the pen off the axis of the surface, and you're not getting any kind of response at all. So let's go into Sketchbook and do some testing with the old pencil. If I do really light, it has some skipping, and obviously if you do it you're harder, you're going to get the deeper, thicker pencil lines. And back that up. Switch over to the new Surface Pen, and this is about as light as it can go, and it keeps a consistent line, no skipping. And obviously as you go thicker, that's going to do that. And I did play with this a little bit, and I wasn't able to get the tilt effect in the Sketchbook Pro app that you can see in the Sketchpad that Microsoft has on there. You still get your pencil lay down and everything, but you do not get the shading effect that you get in the other app that I showed you. So I'm going to play around with that. I looked in the settings and everything. You can set the preferences as far as how much when you lay down your ink it will change from, you know, thick to thin, but I did not see anything as far as tilting on that. So let's go ahead and try the new pen on the Surface Pro in Photoshop. As you can see, it's very light line, very consistent. The harder I press, the darker it gets. Let me go ahead and increase the size a little bit. As you can see, it's very light when I do it very lightly, so pressure sensitivity is a lot greater on the new one. It's got 4096, where the previous one is just 1024. Whether you'll really notice it as you're playing around and sketching, you may or may not. The one thing I did notice with the newer pen, I was not able to get the shading effect using tilt. If I use a different brush, I'm still not able to get a tilt sensitivity, and I get a greater lag too for some reason. I noticed a much longer lag than when I was using previous ones. I can create a new one real quick. It's a little better, but I was getting quite a big lag, as you can see right there. And it's not just consistent with that one. The old pencil also was giving me the lag for that too. So I did notice when I go into OneNote and do some writing on the surface with the new pen, it does have a better feel to it. It's a little more consistent as far as picking up my penmanship. It doesn't improve my penmanship, but it has a nicer feel to it when I'm writing on there. Whereas the old pen was a little soft and harder to get the exact nuance of your writing, you know, showing up on the Surface Pro. So I do like the new one in this one. I like the shading in the Sketch app or Sketchpad app that they have, although I've yet to see it show up for the other ones. So there you go, guys, just a quick little review of the new Surface Pen that I picked up the other day. It's Cobalt Blue. I've been waiting for it to come in because it does match my keyboard that I had going with my Surface Pro. I do like the new pressure sensitivity, the 4096. I do feel it in the sketching nuances that I do, and in my writing in the OneNote app. I did notice a difference as far as my writing in that. Like I said, didn't improve it, but I was able to get a little more nuance out of the letters and everything that I do write. The tilt sensitivity, I've only seen it done in the Sketchpad. It is nice as far as that. I couldn't get it to replicate in Sketchbook Pro or Photoshop. If anyone knows how to do that out there, leave me a comment below. I did try to go through a few other YouTube videos to see how they're doing it, but I've yet to see anyone specifically do it in those apps. So maybe that's a feature that's still coming to the apps. I don't know, but for now I wasn't able to implement it. Like I said, the select button is slightly different. That may take some use to getting to, but otherwise it's a nice pen. It's a nice upgrade. You may or may not notice the difference as far as sensitivity depending on your artwork and other applications that you might be using it for. But that is my quick review. Let me know in the comments below if you liked or disliked. If you didn't like it, let me know why, and I can try to bring you some new things in the future. But until next time, I will see you, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.